Welcome, villagers, to the Sunday gathering of the village. So happy to see you all here. I'm Christiana Gaudet. I am your Tarot Fairy Godmother. We are multi-streaming today, and today, of course, is the Tarot Topics newsletter. Tarot Topics comes into your inbox every Wednesday. If you're not yet a subscriber, if you want to read the newsletter online, there are links for all of that right in the description. What we do Sunday mornings is come on and talk about whatever the topic was and do readings around that topic. So this week, the topic is family lore, the stories that we tell in our families that may or may not be true. And sometimes it's about family history that may or may not be true. Sometimes it's things that an elder believes that get repeated over and over again that as we grow up, we may need to disrespect, disrespect, yes. But what I meant to say was deconstruct because it's not true. And how often do we just believe that family lore, even negative family lore about ourselves, when it just isn't true? So, today, we're here to talk about any of the family stories, the ghost stories, the history, anything at all, or any beliefs that you have that maybe it's time to deconstruct. All right, let's get on over to CardCam and let's get to those questions. Here we go. You can see I am still using Wild Reflections. You know I love this deck. All right. All right, here we go. Let me just get oriented here. Hang on a second. All right. All right, here we go. Let's start with Smile Soul 20. So good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than 4 years. Thanks for being a moderator. We really appreciate you. And you're just looking for some general information just about the rest of the year, what we see coming up. And the thing is, there is stress here. And I feel like this goes right to our topic around the stories that we tell ourselves. Like, it makes me wonder if you yourself have stories you tell yourself, whether this came from your family or it's something that you're doing, stories that are inside you about what's not possible, like things that you want, but they're just not possible. I think a lot improves as we get through the rest of this year if you are really clear that the stories you are telling yourself about yourself include the idea that you have the power to make a lot of good things happen. So there we go. Oh, our SDSS, good to see you. Thanks for being a subscriber over on Twitch. I don't have a question, but I do have some family lore. My grandma could see ghosts and demons. She died super early and comes in her kids' dreams whenever someone around them is about to die. Wow, thank you for sharing that. That's good family lore. Our house in Pennsylvania confirmed my father's mother's ghost was up in the attic. They rented it, and the tenants all reported their children in the attic playing with someone named Hattie, which was my grandmother's name. So it's so interesting that the lore, the sort of the spiritual lore of a family can be so interesting. JJM, so good to see you over on Twitch. Let me know if you have a question. Same with you, Magic with Hamza, and anyone else joining us on Instagram and anywhere else you might be. Vaishali, you're up next. Good to see you. Let's see what we got here for you. Cards on the topic. Vaishali, I feel like there are, whether these are spiritual beliefs or whether these are beliefs about you specifically, I feel like family lore may be something that contributes to your anxiety. And so it might be good for you to think about the ways you think about yourself and think about your life and think about what feels safe or dangerous and see how much that is based on reality versus how much it's based on things you were taught to believe. All right, the Solid Box, good to see you. Thanks for being here. What does my mom, father, and sister think about me? Do they love me and see me as a burden as well? I think that they do absolutely love you. And I don't think they see you as a burden. I think that they hope that you will be able to be more self-sufficient in the future. I think they have faith. I think they may have more faith in you than you realize. Hey, suspicious username over on Twitch. Good to see you. I am very well, thank you. How are you doing? Let me know if you have a question today. All right, Caroline, Caroline McLaughlin, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 2 years, and thanks for using members-only emojis. Cards on this topic. I feel like there's actually a lot of happy family stories that are passed down in your family. There are funny stories. There are fun stories. Like there's a lot of great family lore in your family. But I also think that sometimes in your family, humor and making light of things was used to cover up things that didn't always feel so good. And so that may have resulted in a tendency in you or in some family members to do exactly that, to laugh things off, which, you know, can be a really good technique, but then to not go back and do the deeper healing work. So that might be a thing to think about. All right, so this is a tough question on the topic. Over on Twitch, suspicious username. Will my sisters ever recover from our childhood? I mean, it is certainly possible. It is certainly possible. The thing is, they have processed it differently than you have. And they have processed it in a way that, frankly, is a little bit emotionally lazy. That is going to make it harder for them to find the healing and to find the new perspective that is needed. But I do think it's possible and even likely over time. It will take time, but yes. Hey, New Beans, good to see you. Let me know if you have a question. All right. Suspicious username. Oh, makes sense. I went to a therapist and psychiatrist. Yeah, right. And that makes all the difference. All right. All right, here we go. Jenna Perkins, good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member, and thanks for using members-only emojis. Cards on this topic. Okay. So I feel like there are really good values that were given to you through your family. But I do feel like some of those values may involve not honoring your emotions or not showing your emotions, or even shaming you or shaming others for feeling feelings. I feel like, yes, a lot of good values, but maybe also not an emphasis on emotional understanding. And I think that's where a lot of your healing is, and also the healing that you do for others. Let me know what you think. Claire C. Oh, this is a good one. Claire, thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 4 years. Check out this family story. My family had a story that during World War II, German spies hid in our upstairs secret passageways. My brother found German coins, books, and a bloody scarf up there. There were really spies entering through nearby Cape Canaveral, and German subs sighted. What do I need to know about this? Well, that's that's such a great story. Is it true? Did that really happen? Did German spies secretly hang out in that house? I think it's absolutely true. I think that is a very true story. I absolutely do. And a fun, like that might be a fun story to preserve, to tell, to share in some way through art or a publication or something, because that's a really interesting part of history. And just how close we might have been to a greater, like an invasion more than Pearl Harbor, let's put it that way. So that's a cool story. We lived in a house in Putnam, Connecticut that had been part of the Underground Railroad. You could go into the basement and there was a tunnel that would take you to the river. These old houses have so much lore in themselves, my goodness. Hey, Dream It Possible, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Let me know if you have a question. New Beans, here's your question. It's a question about romance. Will you and S be together? You know, there are feelings there, and there could be a conversation. There could be some moments, but I would not necessarily see an ongoing relationship. Be open to what is possible, but do not tell yourself a story of something that probably will not happen. And Dream It Possible. Dream It Possible. Good to see you. What's coming to you soon? I feel like it needs to be a time of introspection. I mean, you know, this whole thing that we're talking about, the stories that we grow up with, the stories that we tell ourselves, I think it's a good time for introspection to figure out which of those stories are helpful and true and which are not. And I think that's kind of the next thing for you to embrace right now. All right. Claire C. Wow, I have always wondered. A local leader was intrigued because her grandfather was instructed to hunt for spies and submarine drop-offs. Yeah. All right. Who is next? Jeannie. Jeannie Mnuchin, good to see you. Thanks for being a member for more than 4 years. October holds my daughter's birthday, parents' anniversary, and dad's birthday. He's in spirit, and the anniversary of my dad's passing. Which family messages serve me and which do I need to shed? Oh, that's so interesting. You know, there was, I think, always in your family an encouragement toward communication, creativity, and intellectual development. And that has served you well throughout your life. There's also this other thing that makes you small when you're not small and makes you feel the need to be quiet when you have something to say. And I'm not quite sure exactly what that comes from, but if you could find that and shut that down, it is the, you know, we all, if we're lucky, we got some great things from our family, but also some problematic ones. And I think your problematic one makes you small and quiet. And I'm not sure what caused that, but if you could figure out that, that would help. Think. And you're asking too for messages from your parents. Your mother loves the relationship that you have with your daughter. And she feels like you are able to be a better parent to your adult child than she was able to be. And she sees that and she really admires that. That's what I see there. All right. Suspicious username. For some reason, Temperance is such a beautiful card about duality. In this deck, it really does show up that way. And I think that's a fair message for this card. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Betty Flesher. Good to see you. Thanks for giving me this deck. Thanks for being a member for more than 4 years. My mother's side of the family is a very strange one. Many ghost stories and many strange tales of paranormal events. What do the cards say about them? I mean, like any story, stories will become exaggerated in the telling. And I'm sure that's happened generationally here. But Betty, they're all based in truth. And I think that that's really interesting because you're a person who has had a lot of draw toward the spiritual, the psychic, what is beyond the veil. And I feel like that's very much in your lineage. Like one thing you learn about yourself is you came by this very naturally. And that generational line can be really very powerful. So claim that. Hey, good morning, Terry Rosario. Good to see you. All right. Oh, fun. Jenna Perkins, I came up with a question. All righty. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Did any of my ancestors read tarot or use any kind of divination? There were probably some. I think it might not have been tarot. It might have been more like bibliomancy or dowsing. But I think there were some. I don't know who, but I think there were some. All right. Terry Rosario, here we are. Thanks for being a member. Coming out of family stories. Grandparents from the Great Depression trickled down to my parents. I finally learned that having to eat everything from the plate before leaving the tarot table. Glad I learned from bariatric surgeon all about portion control and okay to leave food on the plate and to put leftovers in Pyrex containers. Not the tarot table, no, but we're going to be playing with that later because that was so fun. That was so good and so fun. Like, don't leave any crumbs on the tarot table. I love that. But you brought up a really important thing. The number of people in a certain generation who have serious weight issues left over from the lore of the Great Depression, that is very, very real. And a reason that a lot of people of a certain age have weight control issues because that's what we were trained with. Absolutely. And that's a really good point illustrating what we're talking about here today. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. Okay. Liz Harrison. I resonated with Vaishali's reading. Thank you. Can I get questions on how to heal or remove or move away from the negative lore passed down about negative self-image, self-esteem, and envy? It's definitely passed down for a long line of women on my mother's side. And I saw a more recent comment. here it is, right? Generations ago, my ancestors came from Mormon polygamy. And I often wondered if those stories kept them quiet. I'd love to not carry that load. Well, the thing I'm thinking about, and obviously this is foreign to me, the only stories I know about this come out of fiction, primarily on HBO. But when you say jealousy, given that specifically Mormon polygamy was one man, many wives, and you talk about your mother's jealousy, like one would wonder, how that works. Okay, anyway, how to move away from the negative lore passed down about negative self-image, self-esteem, and envy. I think at this point, because you've done so much deconstruction already, Liz, like you've done such a good job with this, I feel like now it's just when it creeps into your mind to kind of program your brain or make an agreement with your brain that you will have a little alarm that when one of these thoughts comes up, you're going to be alarmed to it and you're going to go examine it and you're going to say, is this legit? Or is this a problem and something I need to get rid of? And if it's a problem and something I need to get rid of, let me deconstruct it. If you don't have time in that moment to deconstruct it, write it down, put it in your phone notes, and deal with it later. Like it's a very mechanical process at this point. Bex Tarot, so good to see you over on Instagram. Mrs. O, good to see you. Maureen, hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Go Fishing, good to see you. Everyone joining on Instagram, if you have a question, go for it. Betty Flesher, thank you. I absolutely love this topic, especially this time of year. Right, Claire C., we always heard to eat and not waste because children were starving in France. I guess this started after the war. Right. I heard about the starving Armenians. So yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, GM Marcus, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member. Sometimes I think there is a family influence, spirit, dare I say curse, behind my persistent troubles in career and romance. What do the cards say? I mean, when we talk about like a generational curse or a family curse, I'm pretty sure it's not because some witch cursed your great-grandfather and now it's still an issue. I feel like generational curses come from family lore. It's the very topic we're talking about. And here's the most obvious example, I see of it all the time. People raised in narcissistic households have a very hard time finding good love relationships. It's a generational curse, but it's not some magic someone did on you. So now, when we look at you, GM Marcus, when we look at persistent troubles in career, the thing is, you're a creative, you're creating, but it feels like it's like you get blocked at every turn, and that feels hard and bad. But are you bringing that on in any way? Is it inordinate? Like, I would say stop seeing that as a curse and start seeing it as the game. The game is, you really want this? Okay, great. The universe is going to throw all kinds of things at you. Do you really want it? Keep going. Keep getting it. This is a video game, not a curse. That's how I would see that. Now, and not to make light of the difficulties here and the frustrations, but that's the way I would see it. And as far as love is concerned, that's been a tough one. And that is, I think, where a generational issue exists. Either things you've been taught or told about love or about the gender of people that you're attracted to, whether it's relationship modeling that you have seen that isn't it, that's something you have to break out of. So I'm going to say broadly to your answer, yes, in both cases, but in both cases, you fix the curse by changing the way you're looking at it. Well, with business, changing the way you're looking at it and not feeling defeated. And in love, recognizing you may have to do some deconstruction. That's true. Oh, Liz Harrison, incredible advice. Mechanical process makes perfect sense. Thank you for the encouragement. Much appreciated. I appreciate you. Hey, Mrs. Musings, Mrs. O's Musings. Good to see you. Over on Instagram. Can I ask simply what the cards feel is coming up for me, husband, and daughter? You, new opportunities that you didn't expect. Husband, healing, whether of body, mind, or spirit. And daughter needs to figure out what she wants and what's available to her and what she's going to do with it. All right. Baby cakes, good to see you. I will have a card on this topic, please. I miss my Buick that got totaled a couple of years ago. When it comes to the spiritual side, it is pretty strong in my family. I had a few dreams that predicted the exact future for myself. And so what Baby Cakes is referencing is the family story I shared in the newsletter was the story about my grandmother's Buick, which was just this weird bit of family lore that was really non-egregious. But I used it to illustrate how more egregious family lore can be hurtful. So for you, Baby Cakes, you know, that spiritual energy that runs through your family is pretty strong. But I feel like you are one who maybe could put more energy or has put more energy into really working it and using it to your advantage. I feel like you have something there that is yours through your family legacy. And you could ground into that and use it not only to see, but also to create. So like recognize the witch within is what I want to say to you. Man, that feels like a book. The Witch Within. All right. Wendy Robeson, so good to see you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being a member for more than 3 years. Thanks for being a moderator. My grandmother always said she saw my great-grandfather, her husband, after he died. I know she was a Baptist, but I think she was also open to other things. Is this true? Oh, definitely. And I mean, you don't have to go back too far in that sort of Southern Baptist tradition to find the Bible dippers, to find the people who were doing basically American Christian folklore magic, which is a very real thing. And unfortunately, it's been completely washed out of this new version of evangelical ridiculousness. But yeah, I would guess so. Yes. Okay. Okay. Bex Tarot, good to see you. And if anyone hasn't yet listened to the podcast, Confessions of a Tarot Reader, with Bex Tarot, it's Bex's podcast. You should follow it. I was on it. A lot of great people are on it. Definitely check it out. Bex Tarot. What family inherited pattern should I focus on challenging and healing? I love that question. It's definitely patriarchal stuff. It's stuff about how you matter less than other people and how It's how you matter less than other people. It's how your voice isn't as important. And obviously you're working through that because you're putting your voice out there and you have such a good voice. Confessions of a Tarot Reader, everyone. It's a great podcast. Check it out. But there is a part of you that doesn't believe in yourself quite as much as you should. And it comes from generational, I'm going to say it, generational misogyny. That would be my guess. Most of it you've worked out, but there's some that's still there, I think. So, and Bex is like, correct. We can still be nurturers without making ourselves small, right? Right? All right. Oh, and feedback from Mrs. O. That really resonated. Husband is getting over loss of his dad. Daughter's thinking about college, and I'm excited for the opportunities that are coming in for me. Yeah, me too. Me too. All righty. Oh, Gia Marcus, thank you so much. I will reconsider the way I play the game. Yeah, sometimes, man, you just gotta, and you know what it is too. And I'm saying this to GM Marcus, but I'm actually saying it to everyone here. In this world, this sort of spiritual world that we're all inhabiting, whatever you want to call it, there is this thing that people will say that if it flows, if it's easy, the universe wants you to have it, it's for you. If it does not flow, if it is not easy, then it's not for you. And I think that is the biggest load of BS in the world. Sometimes that might be true, but some people of a certain age are going to resonate with this one. Children are to be seen and not heard. Yeah. And that's, he dropped. We're off. Okay.